Hello students, welcome to this class. In today's lesson I will be talking to you about verb voices, but specifically aiming for the active voice. I have a note written up here for you that says that the active voice states an action completed by the subject aiming for the object of the verb. So it is an action that is completed by the subject that will have an effect on the object of the verb. As you can see, I have 4 sentences written here on the board using the active voice. And it is also important that you know that most sentences or statements use this verb voice. Alright, the first example I have here says, Daniel read that book twice. So we have to find our subject, which is Daniel, and our object, book, and the verb, read. So we have to see if the action of the subject, read, Daniel read, is going to have an effect on the object. And it does. Daniel read that book. It is aiming for the object, book. Daniel read that book. Alright, so this is the active voice. The next one says, he drove his car to New Jersey. We have he, a subjective case or a subject form pronoun. Drove. We have the verb or the action, his car, that is aiming for the object of the verb. He drove his car to New Jersey. So it is also the active voice. The next one says, Celine, we have our subject here, sings. We have our verb here. Beautiful songs. We have our object here. So, as you can see, the subject is, the subject's action is aiming towards the object of the verb, right? The next one says, we ran the 10-mile marathon. We, subject, ran, verb, and it is talking about, or it is aiming for, the object, marathon. We ran the 10-mile marathon. Alright, so these are 4 very, very clear examples of the active voice. Next, I will give you some practice examples and sentences so that you can keep practicing with me. Now I have more practice examples for you. The first one says, the book was written by Dave. Is this the active voice? Remember, the active voice states an action completed by the subject that aims for the object of the verb. The book would be the object. Was written by Dave would be the subject. And this verb is aiming for the subject. So is this the active voice? No, it is not. It is the passive voice. So we are going to cross this one out. The next one says, Dave wrote a book. We have our subject here, our verb that is aiming for the object of the verb. So it is a very, very, very clear example of the active voice, right? So this one is correct. The next one says, the floor is being swept by Junior. We see this verb phrase here, the object here, and this verb phrase is aiming to our subject. So is that the active voice or not? No, it isn't. So we are going to cross this one out. And the next one says, Junior is sweeping the floor. We have our subject, Junior. We have our verb phrase is sweeping. And we have our object, the floor. Sorry, excuse me. So the verb phrase is aiming for the object of the verb. Junior is sweeping the floor. So is this correct? Is this the active voice? Yes, it is. So now you know how to identify the active voice and compare it with the passive voice. In one of my next videos, I will do a video on the active voice. I will talk about the passive voice, so that you can get clear examples about how to change the active voice sentences or statements into the passive voice and vice versa. All right, so this is just the active voice. It is very simple. We always use it. We always use the subject, verb, object pattern. Okay, so next I will leave you some homework. Remember that you need to do it, because if you don't practice, you may never learn English. For homework, you are going to write 4 sentences using the active voice. Remember, if you want to leave a comment or a suggestion in the comment section below this video along with your homework, please do so. And well, if you have a workbook, please do your homework there as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Would you like to watch my next video? Click on the television to the right. Talking to you about verb voices. I already made a video, or a previous video, on verb voices focus.